Shut up and sit down.
What's up, you guys? I'm Sai, and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. On the channel features podcasts, interviews, content on a whole variety of subjects. We've got shows released, recorded, scheduled on various subjects, including mental health, football, films, TV, wrestling, music, writing, conspiracy theories, serial killers, and more. So today's episode, technically episode 2 of the podcast with no name, which is our films and TV podcast. But we did 4 shows on the MCU. So the first 3, myself and Reese broke down the phase 1 to 3. And then Jamie joined us for a mammoth Endgame review. So technically, it's like episode 5, 6. I don't know. It's not really episode 2, but it is. So like episode 1, we talked the latest rumours, trailers, and then we finished off discussing Umbrella Academy. Jamie couldn't make it for that show, which is probably good because you hated him, Umbrella Academy, didn't you?
Yeah, they weren't a big fan.
I see. Me and Reese loved this, so it's like probably for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so today's show we're gonna have a look at some trailers and stuff and rumor or two, and then talk about Chernobyl. So yeah, it was incredible, mate. So joining me is Jamie, as you already heard. Welcome back, mate.
Hello, thank you for having me back, Simon. Always a pleasure.
It's all right, mate. Just breaks it up a bit. People get fed up of Reese. Just bring you in, switch it around a bit. No, Reese, let's be fair, people getting fed up of anyone, it's probably me. He's like churning out podcast after podcast.
You do your thing, Si. You're doing it well as well.
Coming up to like 50 episodes. Just madness. But yeah, it's going a bit. It's not as stressful now that I've got it down to a bit of a fine art now. Yeah. Just releasing 3 shows a week and recording, not recording more than 3 in a week. He says, because at one point I was like recording every day. And I think my missus was getting fed up, the kids were getting fed up, and I was just stressing all the time. So I've broken it up a bit. And then next week, starting tomorrow, I'm doing 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows Tuesday, a show Wednesday, a show Thursday, and a show Friday. But that's because it's summer holidays. Yeah. So I'm stocking up loads of shows so I don't have to, like, if we're out for the day or something, rush back.
You got one ready to go.
And yeah, well, I've already got a lot. So yeah, tomorrow I'm speaking to Gavin Ray, which is going to be good fun.
That's really cool.
And then on Tuesday I'm speaking to Rodri Giggs, which should be good. Should be good, interesting chat.
That's a good one.
And it's going to be really interesting. Hear his story. And then Wednesday I'm filming a show on DID with someone who's got DID, which is going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, just loads of stuff coming up. So that's just a little glimpse for everyone of what I got coming up. But there's loads of shows coming up. As it were, I forgot I was doing a podcast there, and I thought me and you were just chatting.
Just having a chat,
yeah.
That's what it's like when you're comfortable with people, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what all a podcast is, isn't it? It's just chatting.
Exactly. Chat.
I apologise to the people who watch the video because I'm like sweltering, dripping with sweat, and so I'm going to just be like sat back, just looking a bit moist. So you've been to the cinema a couple of times recently.
I have, yes, and I've seen a lot of films.
You've seen Spiderman, haven't you?
Yes.
You saw Spiderman, you've seen Toy Story.
Yes.
So, right, Spiderman, I haven't seen the film, but I know what's in the post-credit scenes.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
we're not going to talk about the film because we'll give some people more time to watch it. However, if you don't want to know what's in the post-credit scenes, skip forward 5 minutes from now. So what did you think of those post-credit scenes, mate? Oh, you tell the people what they are, and then we'll...
well, the mid-credit scene was Spider-Man swinging through New York with MJ, Michelle, not calling her MJ because okay, she
Zendaya.
is MJ, but it's Michelle, and he drops her down, skins back up, new Flash comes up, and I was it looked like InfoWars, and I was like, this is really strange. It's like an InfoWars type news flash, and then I forgot his name. Played the
JJ. It's J.
yeah.
I know JJ now, but I can't remember what his full name is. The news reporter who always hates Spider-Man, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And
comes up.
but it's the same guy, isn't it, from the original
yeah,
Spider-Man trilogy, which I think is just awesome
brilliant.
that they got him
Brilliant
back
casting.
because he's the perfect guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Jonah Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, that's him.
What's the actor's name? Do you know the actor's name? I forget.
No idea.
But he's like the perfect casting, so I'm really glad that they brought him back. Which also gives me hope that we might see Wolverine, even if it's just for like one film, to pass the torch to that girl from Logan, and then maybe they kill him off. But just so because he said he wants to be in the MCU, and now that they can, I know he said he was done with the character, but I think that he might come back and just do one.
Disney got the dollars.
Yeah, and I mean they don't have to kill him off, do they? Because they can. Logan was so good. You don't have to keep continuity with Logan because it's a separate universe.
Yeah,
but you imply
that.
That's what happens to him.
Yeah.
So like he can pass the torch to the girl. I hope they bring the girl back because I thought she was really good. However, it gets a bit confusing because obviously
there's so many timelines.
Logan's set in the future, and it's like,
yeah.
But then the timelines are so messed up in the MCU now with all the Endgame stuff. I suppose.
And then you got Sony's Spider-Verse, which you don't know if Venom's in the MCU timeline. It's really confusing.
I think they'll end up blending the two. I do, because I think Sony knows that, because there was rumors that they were going to take Tom Holland or take the Spider-Man character back because their contract's with this last film, the one that's doing now. So there was rumors that they were going to take the character back because they felt like they'd got like the negativity off it from the Andrew Holland films, so that they could like
reboot it,
go and do their own thing and reboot it. But I think actually the best way to go for that Sony, obviously I know better than the multi-billion-dollar company, is I think that they've hinted at the multiverse in the MCU. I think they should link it that way. Yes. So maybe it doesn't have to be like continuity-wise completely in line with the main MCU films.
Timeline.
It could be another universe within it, and then you can bring over Tom Holland. I said Andrew Holland, I think. Andrew Garfield, I meant.
Yes,
so then they can bring Tom Holland over, and they could launch like a Miles Morales character with Venom and the Sinister Six, but then they don't have to be beholden to what the MCU continuity and that type of thing. But equally, you can do a bit of crossing over, and like Iron Man's in these Spider-Man films and stuff as well.
Well, I've also read rumours that Tom Holland signed on for 9 Spider-Man films. So you have like the high school Spider-Man, the like university type Spider-Man, and then you have the man Spider-Man. So I'm well up for that. Give me that. Give me all that. Because
definitely, mate. And the thing is, I think when I said the contract, I meant the sharing contract, so that he could go into the MCU. But I think the best thing Sony could do is bring in the Miles Morales character.
Yeah.
And obviously they hinted at that in the MCU.
Well, Into the Spider-Verse is probably one of the best superhero films ever made.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, mate, watch it. It's brilliant.
I got a friend who's got like a VPN who watches American Netflix.
Yeah.
And this friend told me that Spider-Verse is on there at the moment on the American Netflix, so I'm gonna watch my friend's VPN, and so I might go and see him later and watch it. But yeah, but they hinted at in the first Spider-Man film they had Miles Morales' uncle was
he is in this universe.
So which that makes me think then, will they bring in the Miles Morales character using Tom Holland as like training him or whatever, and then Tom Holland will sort of slowly go into the background and go
then he takes over
with the Sony, and then he'll take over. So they've still got the character, and Sony
just
can have
a
Tom
different
Holland
version of the character.
It'd be quite refreshing to have the Miles Morales character in, but I'd like to see a kind of like multiverse film when they bring in the X-Men, and maybe do like a Spider-Verse within that type of thing.
Yeah.
So rather than doing like just a reboot of, or like a remake of the animated Spider-Verse film, do like a Marvel multiverse film, whoever's film it is, and then just do like the spider characters within that. However, saying that, what's the big story in the comics with the X-Men and the multiverse? Oh, what is it? There's like a huge like arc.
If my friend Dan was here, he could be able to tell us because he reads comics every single day of his life.
That's the one thing. See, that's the one thing. Like I'm up to date.
I wish I read comics more.
I don't read the comics, but I tend to know what they are.
Yeah.
Because I got so into Marvel, I like research on that, but I never really like. I've got some of the graphic novels for the kids and stuff. Like the Civil War ones are really good.
I read. Have you read? I know it's totally different. DC's Flashpoint, the Flashpoint comic.
But I've heard it's really good.
They're really good.
Yeah, I see. I'm not a big DC guy, even though when I was little, DC, I was more aware of the DC than I was Marvel. Like obviously when the MCU kicked off, the Avengers characters that they used to start it were, apart from the Hulk, were pretty unknown.
Well, C-list characters, weren't they? Now Iron Man was
like, he wasn't a popular character. Like people did not like him in the comics. Go on. So tell us about and then the main.
So he comes up. He tells the world who Spider-Man is in the mid-credit scene.
Who's that? J. Jonah Jameson tells him, doesn't he?
Tells the world that.
That's what I was going to say. Is the I like the using like an InfoWars type channel for the J. Jonah Jameson, because it's called moving with the times, isn't it? Like internet channels and YouTube channels and that type of thing. They're so big these days that it makes sense to use. I know I read the newspaper.
I get 90% of my news off the internet now. I haven't bought a newspaper for about 4 years. Last time I bought a newspaper was the Echo when we got promoted, because I like
exactly what I was going to say.
Stuff like that, because
I'll probably buy some papers tomorrow because England won the World Cup today. And that's exactly what I was going to say. That's the last time I bought a newspaper was when, I think it was when Wales beat Belgium. Would have been the last time. Cardiff got promoted. Yeah, that was after, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What a year. What a couple of years that was. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Oof. But yeah, if it was a big event, sporting event, I tend to buy a paper then. But yeah, like you say, they've moved with the times. They had like an InfoWars type thing, and that was brilliant. And then the end credit scene, oh my god, it's got the internet in a stir because they don't know what it means. Why is Nick Fury with the Skrulls on a ship?
So basically, like I've only seen a little bit of it, but I know kind of what happens. So in this, I mean, like it goes to sort of Nick Fury, and he's on a.
Looks like he's laying on a beach.
Yeah, he's laying on a beach, and then it turns out that's like a virtual reality type thing, and then he comes out of that, and he's on a ship, which
camera
is
pans out and he's on a Skrull command ship.
It's not a Skrull ship. It's the sword, like the space shield.
Yeah.
It's that ship from the comics, and then obviously they reveal that the Nick Fury and the Maria Hill from Spider-Man have been Skrulls throughout the film, and he's been up on the ship. But it's the two Skrulls from Captain Marvel, isn't it? The good ones.
Yes.
So it's not revealing that they're like they're up to something and they're trying to manipulate people. They basically just repeat. It was almost as if they were implying they replaced him while he was on holiday, sort of thing.
Yes.
But I wanted Sword.
I don't want to tell you why they were there because it gives away the film. So, but when you see it, you'll be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Cool. Well, the last thing I'll say on that, and then we'll stop the spoilers. Is when they do remember at the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not the series just finished, but the series before, where they all got shot up into space and it finished with them waking up in space. I thought they were going to do Sword then, and I was really excited because the Sword is one of my favorite sort of elements of the space stuff. So I'm really hoping they do that, especially with Captain Marvel being a big part of it now.
Yeah.
I think that could be really, really clever. Okay, spoilers over. So welcome back to everyone who skipped forward. I'm pretty sure it was probably more than 5 minutes, so I apologise. But I tend to go on tangents. So just quickly, with no spoilers, you watched Toy Story 4.
Oh, mate.
What did you think?
I love Toy. Obviously, I'm 33 now, so I'm still a child, really. Obviously, Toy Story was one of the films I grew up with, so I was always going to see this, especially with my kids, because we've all watched Toy Story 1 and 2. Toy Story 3 holds a special place in my heart because the day my grandpa died, I watched that film. So I'll always have a little place in my an emotional sense from that film for that. But this one, I cried for the last 5 minutes solid. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I have heard it's very, very good.
Oh,
so,
it's amazing storytelling.
Yeah. So, right. So basically, we're recording this show on Sunday the 14th, but it's going to come out on Monday the 22nd. So, but then me and Jamie and maybe Reese, don't know about Reese at the moment for the film ones, we're going to record another one 2 weeks from now, which means it'll come out a week after this, that's when we're going to talk about Spider-Man. So basically, we're going to talk about Spider-Man in detail next week and Toy Story 4 in detail. So my missus said that we should get Reese's kids, your kids, and my kids, and just let them talk for 10 minutes about Toy Story.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'd be okay with that.
She said, you're grown men, you shouldn't be reviewing Toy Story 4. But I was like, it's a masterpiece, as you said. So
it's amazing.
And the thing is, they're made for kids, but there's loads in them for adults. There's always jokes.
There's always Disney do it all the time. They always put jokes in their films just for the adults. You're like, that's cool. It's like
they put jokes in there which go over the kids' heads, and the parents are just like, I get it.
That's funny.
There's
it's brilliant. It's such a good film. Like, you can't give Disney they got it. Like Aladdin was amazing. I'm pretty sure Lion King's going to be amazing. I've got to see Lion King now next weekend as well. They're really good films. And Toy Story 4, if it finishes with Toy Story 4, I'm okay. But if they want to go on, they can, because they're toys and you can do so much with toys. So yeah, it's such a good film. It's like I said, last 5 minutes, I cried. And I mean, I sobbed. And my kids were looking at me, my nieces and nephew, my nieces were all just looking at me and going, "What's mad?" And just tears streaming down my face. Everyone's taking the mick out of me.
So, Is it better than Avengers Endgame?
Oh no, but it's a different film. But
Yeah.
my favorite film of this year is Endgame. It's nothing will beat it out. But then Spider-Man second, and it's very close to beating Endgame.
I think the thing with Endgame is not just that it was good and the storytelling and they hit all the right beats. There was only like, I think when we reviewed it, there was one or two things we were a bit like, well, they could have done that a bit better. But it was also because it was like 11 years of investment, in emotional investment in
Yeah,
watching it. So like it was like a culmination. And like that's why I said to my missus, I said, I am going to watch it the day it comes out. If you want
yeah.
to wait, you can, but I'm going. I've been waiting for it, so I'm going. But yeah. So sorry.
Sorry.
There's so many trailers out every week these days, and there's so many films.
You can't keep up with it because there's
It's really bad. Like because like obviously we'd planned to do this last week,
yeah.
and I'd sent you a list of stuff which we were going to talk about. And then as I was like preparing today, I was going through and I was like, well, that's out already. And it's like I had to like chuck a few things out because they're
There's,
already out in the cinema
there
now.
seems to be a good film out every week now. There's not a time now where there's something this I don't want to watch out in the cinema. It's like, okay, I might not go and see like Rambo or Child's Play straight away, but I'm going to see them in the cinema.
Yeah, you love the cinema, don't you? See,
Yeah.
I tend to only go and watch the Marvel films in the cinema, and then I'll just watch the others at home. But like, I'm so behind on everything, like my TV shows, my films. Like, I watched Chernobyl. I only finished it like I think last week, and like when we were looking like we were going to record last week, I was like texting Reese saying I haven't finished it yet. I need to
Yeah.
like find the time to do it. But so yeah, we're going to discuss Spider-Man next week
Yep.
ish. Next week for you guys. Obviously, there's loads of like remakes and reboots again. It seems like every couple of years there seems to be like an influx of them. One of the said reboots or comebacks or whatever you want to call it is Rambo #5, Last Blood. I do like me some John Rambo, and I particularly like the original, the first one. But like I've always liked them, and the one that came out a couple of 10 years ago, was it? 2000,
Yeah.
yeah, Jesus, that's gone quick. 11 years ago,
Yeah.
2008. That was good. It was, yeah, I thought it was really good actually, compared to a lot of reboots and remakes, or like when there's like a huge gap between films, they don't always hit the right marks. But I thought it was very good. There's plans for more. So like, yeah, so Stallone looks about 100, but
He looks
still
good
looks
for his
better than
age.
I
Yeah.
ever have.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Um,
looks really fit.
he's unbelievable, mate. I'm sure he's had a bit of work done and stuff, but like he's like just pushing 70. Like
But look at Creed. He's been brilliant in Creed as well.
I haven't seen Creed 1 or 2, but I've been
I,
told they're really good.
They're very good. You should watch them
I
as well.
am
Si.
told. I gotta find the
I'm going to
time.
send you a list of films to watch because
Yeah,
I watch a
I'm
lot
gonna.
of films.
So like, my plan is in about a year's time, perhaps when we've got like a few more subscribers and stuff, is I might set up like a members only thing or like a Patreon or something, just something cheap, just to try and raise a bit of money for some equipment or whatever, and do like some members only reviews on like old films or films which are not like come out recently,
Yeah,
but just good films and stuff, and just just like get you on or get Reese on and just talk about them, watch them again, just do stuff like that. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I got loads of ideas, mate. One of my new ideas is to have unscripted shows. So I'm
just off the cuff.
contemplating so I'm contemplating the first episode of that being with Rodri Giggs on Tuesday, but I'm not sure yet. I got to speak to him beforehand. So they announced the plans for this film, fifth film. pretty much straight after the one in 2008, but then it was like off and on and off and on and off and on. And then they started filming October last year. So we watched the trailer. The basic premise seems to be his friend's daughter gets kidnapped and he goes into the US-Mexico border
to get her,
bring her home, fight the cartel, one-man army, all that type of stuff. Oh, what else I was going to ask you? What's your favourite Rambo film?
Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of Rambo.
No.
No, I've only put them on in the background just as background noise before now, because I don't really pay much attention. Like I like Stallone. I think he's a good actor. Well, he's not a great actor. He's a good actor, but I'm not really all that fussed on him, to be honest. He's not my favourite Stallone films.
The thing is,
give me a Rocky.
They're not gonna. The Rambo film, they're not gonna win you in like Oscars and stuff.
Oh no.
They're like if I'm doing some dishes or like doing some ironing or something,
just something to watch.
Chuck them on, or if I'm like dropping off to sleep or something, I'll chuck them on and just a bit of like say background noise and whatever. So initially they were going to do. I'm not even sure if they ever did like a Son of Rambo film.
They were talking about it, weren't they?
Yeah, the idea was they were going to do like a passing of the torch thing. I guess a bit like what Creed is, where he's getting too old perhaps to do the action scenes and then passing it on to like a younger actor to keep the franchise going.
Anything to keep it going these days, isn't it?
No, they love it. I just wish they'd hurry up and remake The Matrix.
That's happening.
Or like make another one. Make The Matrix is my favorite film of all time.
I missed it. They done in Swansea in the View. They were doing all the films in one day, and I was in work, so I couldn't go. So really gutted all that. So I love the Matrix films.
Matrix, mate.
Yeah.
First time I watched that, I was just like.
First time I watched the Matrix original was on New Year's Eve 1999. That's how I see my millennium in, watching the Matrix.
Nice. Better than being fucking 99 Millennium. I was in the Millennium Stadium queuing for beer. We bought tickets to go and see it. And we got in, queued up, got a beer. It took like an hour to get a beer. And I just said to my mate, I said, I'm not staying here all night. It's fucking rammed. And I go on queue for
drinks
hours and hours just for a beer. So we ended up going next door in the walkabout. Didn't even watch the man. I don't like New Year's anyway. I hate it.
Yeah, it's overrated, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah. Anyway, that was another fucking tangent from Willis. At the end of Rambo, the 2008 one, he's all like clean and calm, and he's sort of retiring. He goes back down like this rural road, and the camera pans round to the house, and it's got like a mailbox with the R for Rambo, and it's just like clear that he's gone home and he's followed the woman who was in that film. She had advised him to sort of go home and see his dad and rest and whatever. And then the opening for this trailer, you see the same letterbox, looks a bit wrecked, and you see his boots on the porch. It's like open retirement. Yeah, so it's like hinting that he's still at that house in Arizona. There wasn't like a great deal to the trailer. I mean, the woman, so Sarah Miller, the character who was in the last film, she's one of only 3 women in the entire series that you see interacting with Rambo, which is fucking mental.
That's insane.
4 films, and he's only interacted with 3 women. No wonder he's a nutter. He's going insane just from speaking to men constantly. You
got a good woman in your life. I got a good woman in my life. We're not mental. We just like talking about films and the such.
I don't know, mate. I mean, I go a bit nuts now and again.
It's fun, isn't it?
Lost in my own head, I think. So, I'm not sure. Like, it's not something I'm going to go.
When it's on Sky or whatever, I'll watch it then. But I'm not going to go to the cinema for that. I don't think.
And like in the trailer, he seems to be enjoying a quiet life. And then obviously you see like he's got his room just full of guns and stuff, which wouldn't be Rambo if he didn't have that.
Have some sort of weapon.
I think there's going to be some characters returning from some of the old films, like Sheriff and a couple of others who've been like support characters. But I mean, I'm quite glad they've changed the venue a bit, because like a lot of the films, apart from I think one, have all been set in like Southeast Asia and like Vietnam, and it's a bit all the same, especially with like an action film like
they are quite samey, innit?
Yeah, but like I say, overall, it's not going to be like we're going to win loads of awards and Oscars. It's like a cheesy action.
It's
easy
something
action
for
film to chuck
the fans,
on.
isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah. So yeah, that's out in September. And then moving on, we got Hobbs and Shaw of the Fast and Furious franchise, which Fast and Furious is my guilty pleasure, mate.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they get fed up with it, but I love it. Me and my missus at least once a year will watch the like 1 to 8 or 1 to 8 all the way through. Like
what's
one
your
a night.
least favourite of that franchise, though?
Tokyo Drift. I know I'm a massive fan of.
It doesn't have any relevance.
Yeah, and I think when they made it, they weren't expecting to carry on the franchise, because it also doesn't fit in with the timeline as well.
No.
Because like what's his face dies, doesn't he? And it's like, yeah, it's
alive.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird, isn't it? But then what I like about it is it's just wild and crazy, and they do so much crazy shit in these films, like parachuting cars out of planes and all sorts. They're getting to a point now.
Like,
they're getting to a point now where what else can they do? And like they're almost, from the trailer, it looks like they're almost going down like the superhero, super soldier like feel with Idris Elba, and he's bulletproof and he's enhanced and all this type of stuff, which you can't blame them, because
they brought
superhero films are so big
with a chain, and I'm like,
running down buildings and looks mental, mate. I mean, the only thing they can do now is like just go fucking space and be done with it.
It's fucking mad, but I can't wait to watch it.
It's crazy, mate.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I like The Rock, I like Jason Statham, and I like Idris Elba. It's like, that's a good combination for me.
And then Roman Reigns is in it as well.
I was going to say, yeah, you've got Shaw's mum, who's played by Helen Mirren's back. I'm hoping his brother will be back as well, because I think he's a really good actor. I forget what the actor's called, but Shaw's younger brother, he was a baddie, wasn't he, before Jason Statham even come into it. Yeah, it looks good, looks mental, and it looks like you're going to learn a bit more about the Rock's family, and they go to Hawaii and into all the Samoans and that. So that looks like could have a bit of a different twist to it as well. But it's weird, because it looks like it's going to start with like a lot of technology-based stuff, and then it looks like it's going to end in Hawaii fighting with like swords and
sticks and
guns and bow and arrows and spears and shit. So it could be a tale of two halves, as it were.
Again, I'm definitely going to see it. So
yeah, that'd be definitely. Do you think they'll go to space in the next main film?
Do you know what? I don't know what they're going to do with it, because they're just insane. You just, like, who'd have thought a submarine would have been in the last one? Chasing an orange Lamborghini on ice. It's bizarre.
They've started filming, haven't they? I know. I saw a couple of pictures the other day. I do think they've been hurt a little bit by obviously Paul Walker's passing, because he was such a big part of it, and he was a lot of the time this kind of emotional character.
Yeah,
like you had like a bit of you felt sorry for him if he was in trouble or when his missus got kidnapped and stuff. Yeah, whereas Statham, Vin Diesel, The Rock, they're all fucking huge and like badass dudes. so it's a bit more difficult to get like that emotional connection with him.
Yeah.
Because you've seen him win so many times in so many films, like, but you know, I guess it is, you know, it's just what it is, I suppose. Another reboot from my childhood, and one of the first horror films I ever watched was Child's Play, which is having a reboot. And when I heard they were rebooting this, I was like, oh, fuck's sake, don't think I'm going to watch that. And then I came across the trailer by accident, and I was like, fucking yeah, have some of this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, instead of just rebooting it, it's the same shit. It's like he's like a robot toy who's got AI capabilities, and he can control smart homes and drones and all this shit. Which again, like in what we were saying about the Spiderman thing, can't say what it was because I don't want to say the spoiler, but like with the technology and moving things along to come up with where today's world is, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I've never even crossed my mind that they would do that. And apparently there's an app which you can buy called the Buddy app, Buddi, where you'll be able to view it from what Chucky's looking at. I don't know if that means like the whole film or just like bits where you can go and see, and you'll see it through his eyes, which I thought, cool. Again, that's like a really clever idea. Sometimes those types of ideas don't really work well, but like for young teens and kids, and like not kids, but like teenagers, they'll love that shit.
Yeah. Any good tech is good now, though, isn't it? Let's be fair. Like the VR for PlayStation now is incredible. I played with friends the other day. I went around to his house and played it. It's amazing. So it'll be VR films for long, and that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's there's some really talented people on board as well. Like Mark Hamill's the voice of Chucky.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza of Parks and Recreation and Legion, isn't it? I really like her. Do you watch Legion, mate?
No, I haven't seen that, but I love Parks and Rec. So
I watched the first series, and I was really impressed. I thought it was really good, and I thought it was a great. Even though it was like a Marvel thing, it was so different to all the other like
stuff.
Comic book TVs. And it is different because it's like a guy who's got like thousands of personalities and people in his head, but like it was really well done. I watched the first episode of the second series, and I was a bit like, oh, this is not as good as the first series, and I haven't really got back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the trailers, which we're going to talk about. One spot of news I was going to say. I noticed. So, did you watch the Power Rangers film from about a year or two ago?
I watched half of it, and then I forgot all about it because I was watching on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, I am gonna go revisit it, but then my friend was like, "Oh, it wasn't so successful in the cinema, so they weren't going to do a sequel." But then apparently they said there's going to be a sequel now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the plan was that was going to be like the reboot of this massive franchise, and you could tell that by the stuff they used within it, like the dinosaurs. You could tell it was going to be like this kickoff of big franchise. And the kids wanted to watch it like one weekend, so we watched it on Netflix, and I thought it was really good. And then I looked, like as I always do, when we watch something good, I'll go on and have a look if it's a sequel. And it said that it had mixed reviews. It only made about 42 million. So I think it made 142 million, and they won. They spent 100 million, 105.
So just about made money.
Yeah, just about. Like it made 40 million, but it's not a massive amount for 100 million layout, I suppose. I did really enjoy it, but it looks like they are going to make the sequel now, but it's not going to be linked to that, and it's going to be different actors, which I was really disappointed by because I actually really enjoyed the actors.
Like, that does my head in. Just stick with it. Like, okay, it might not work, but try.
The streaming version is really popular.
Yeah.
Like, even though it didn't do well in the cinema the first time round, it might do better now
Like-
that more people have seen it.
Shawshank Redemption didn't do well in the cinemas, and now everyone loves it because it
It's
got
one of the best
popular
movies of all
on
time.
home release. So
Mm.
just stick at it.
Especially these days.
Even if you
with,
sell
like,
the rights to
streaming.
Netflix and you just goes direct to Netflix,
Still make money off it when you.
like, just stick at it. Just keep going.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Because if I think about it now, if I'd watched Iron Man and Iron Man 2, I probably wouldn't have watched it anymore then, because Iron Man 2 was really wasn't very good.
No, it was
So
a bit.
if you keep if you stick at it, you get films like for Ragnarok, especially if you watch the Dark World and you're like, oh, Dark World was really bad, and then Ragnarok was amazing. So you're like, stick at it, see what you can get.
Like Power Rangers TV show has been going since 1993. That's like
Yeah,
unbelievable. It's nearly 30 years.
I
And
was
like
7 when it started. I'm 33 now.
I was 12.
I still like Power Rangers.
Yeah, I used to like the original like TV show and that, but I couldn't even tell you what it's like now. I'm sure it's like
Oh, it's
glossied
bizarre.
up and
It's really weird.
all sorts of weird stuff.
I come home from work the other day and my youngest son Ollie was watching something. I can't remember what channel it was. I might be on Disney XD or something. I don't know. And I swear it was Power Rangers. I was like, "What's this?" He's watching it, Dad. I was like, "Okay," but it's like, "Sure, this is Power." But it just didn't look anything like the Power Rangers I remembered. I was like, "Oh, okay." But then
Yeah,
there's
I
like
think they
Power
changed it
Rangers
a lot.
Turbo, and it's cool. Like,
Yeah, they've added all stuff in, haven't they, and
yeah,
jazzed it up. So okay, yeah. So hopefully they make
another.
another Power Rangers. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. What's your favorite Fast and Furious film?
What's the first one with the Rock in it? Is it 6?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, 5 actually.
5.
Fast
When
5.
they go to Brazil.
Yeah,
That heist job is amazing. I love that. So yeah,
it's good, and the twist at the end as well when they think they've
got
got the safe and they haven't, and
yep.
yeah, it's good shit, pal. All right, let's finish off with the main event. Let's talk some Chernobyl. It is it's real good shit. And like I thought going in, like I'm fairly well up on what happened, and I've seen documentaries and I've read about it, and I was a bit like, I'm not sure what they can show me that's going to keep me engaged for 5 hours. You know, I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
I really like Jared Harris, so I was a bit like, I'll give it a go. Everyone says it's amazing, but I didn't see how they'd be able to get me hooked, and they did. What were your overall thoughts of it?
It's gone to my top 3 TV shows of all time straight off the bat. It's gripping from the first frames to the end. It's amazing television. Like, we live in such a good age of television now. Like, my mum and my dad always, only fools. Like, that is good. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But the television we have now was so lucky. With like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Sky doing originals with HBO, Showtime doing their like. We're so lucky, and this was amazing. It was actually amazing
The
because
best thing is like Sky and BBC and ITV and Channel 4, they've all had to up their games over the last few years because Netflix and Amazon and all the other streaming services, they were taking over. More people watch Netflix than ever, and more like we got rid of Sky because we just weren't watching it. Like, just weren't watching live. I never watched live TV. Today, it's the first time I watched live TV for probably 6, 7, 8 months, probably since the end of the football season, and even that I switched off towards the end of the year, end of the season. But like Chernobyl, one of the reasons, like I say, I was a bit sort of oh, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this. However, I really like Jared Harris. I think he's an amazing actor, and Stellan Skarsgård
Yeah.
and Emily Watson. They're all really good actors, and a couple of the sort of supporting cast are
The minor
actors I like
cactus.
as well.
Yeah. Because
Like Ralph Ineson, and what's the guy? Who's the Brit? You know the guy where it first happens, and they bring in like the the two bosses, and you had like the guy with the curly hair who's got like a weird scousy sort of accent,
yeah,
and then he was with a scientist. What's that guy called? The
his
one.
name's Paul Ritten. He's from Friday Night Dinner.
Is it? That's
Yeah.
where he's from, is it?
Sure. If I'm thinking of the right one. It's
Oh,
Paul
no,
Ritten.
no, not him. Paul Ritter was the one. He was like the main guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you know when they find out and they wake the two bosses up, and it's like one of them is like a scientist, and then one of them is like a guy who's just chain smoking, and they go into that big room, and then after they have a conversation, all the people come in. Oh, there, Con O'Neill, his name is. I really like him, but I don't know what from. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
He's what's he been in? Let's have a look.
IMDb.
He must have been in something which I'm familiar with, but I don't know. I can't see anything there which would make me. But I recognised him straight away, and I was like, "Oh, I like him." But from the opening moments, I liked what they did. So, like the opening moments conjure up just as much panic and despair and emotion as the actual explosion and the aftermath do, where you've got Jared Harris in his room. It's like a really dour looking apartment, which obviously because of the time period, but like a really dour looking apartment.
The Soviet Union,
He's like speaking into his dictaphone, and then like just his tone and what he's saying, and then he's like he hangs himself, and then that's the start, and you're like, oof. You knew straight away this is going to be quite heavy.
Yeah.
And what I liked as well is that they didn't give it the old fake Russian accents. They just let them predominantly use their own accents.
Yeah.
And I think that helped because they had such a stellar cast of, really good actors that they weren't wasting their efforts trying to put on a Russian accent, which meant that they
talk freely.
Yeah, they could portray their emotions and their characters better. It was.
I'm sure that one of them, the head, the foreman of the coal team, wasn't he in EastEnders? Was that Trevor from EastEnders?
Yeah, he was. My missus spotted that like halfway through. She was like,
"Yeah,
that's Trevor from EastEnders." He was really good in it, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad performance from anyone in it. It's like really good TV. And
what I was amazed
binged it all. I'm not gonna lie, I binged it all in one go.
Yeah, me and my missus watched it over a couple of days, but like we did watch it pretty quick. The what I liked as well, the woman who's like helping them, like the three of them in it, Skarsgård, Jared Harris, and then Emily Watson. She is not actually. She's the only person in there who's not a real person.
Yeah.
So she was a character created to
represent all the
scientists who supported the two guys, which I thought was a great idea, because if you just had a room full of guys and scientists, you wouldn't have had any sort of emotional attachment to them, because you wouldn't, in 5 episodes, they would have only been in flittingly, and you wouldn't have remembered them all because there were so many of them.
But
so by giving
emotional colours, didn't it?
Yeah, and there was lack of females in there anyway, generally. But that was good. The firefighter, one scene which sort of hit me, where you were like, oh, fucking hell, is when the guy picks up the graphite with his gloves on, it burns to his hand.
Yeah.
You realise straight away then how real bad it was. It wasn't like a case of, if you're just in the area close to it, people picked up
Graphite.
Graphite.
picked
They're
up
not realizing.
from the core. It's real
Scary
mental.
stuff. But one of the most scary scenes is actually, it comes in the courtroom where Jared Harris is explaining, with like when he's got the red and the blue
yeah,
cards, and he's like putting them in, and he's saying this is how it works, and then this happened, and he takes the one away, and then this happened, this caused this to happen, and he's taking away the one side, and then it leaves like the one side, which means they don't cancel each other out, and like the way he does it, and the way he like, it's
brilliant.
difficult to explain. It's just so good. And yeah, I thought Paul Ritter was really good as the bad guy, really, wasn't he? Because he was like pushing them to do the test, and
they've never done it. Oh, it's like it gripped me, and I didn't watch it straight away. I waited a little bit because everyone was going off about Chernobyl, and I don't like watching stuff when everyone's watching it. I like to be that guy who watches it after, so I'm not joining. I was like, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I'm probably gonna wait
a single second.
I'm probably gonna watch that when I'm on holiday, on my way to Spain, because I got a 22-hour journey on a coach with Ferris. So gonna watch some TV.
You used to love them. When Becky was pregnant with Ellis, we knew like we weren't going to be going on holiday for a bit. We hopped on a coach to Kallela.
Yeah, we're going to Kallela, the Kallela Palace.
So, mate, where do we stay? The Martinique we stayed. No, Martinique. That's Magaluf, that is. Never mind that.
I'm sure you stayed in the Kallela Palace before it was the Kallela Palace.
Yeah, I think it is called something else. It's the one which got like jacuzzis and stuff. It's got like an adult bar on the roof.
Yeah, that's it.
And because she was ill, she had like morning sickness and all this sort of stuff. A lot of the time I spent on my own. I would just go up to the adult bar and just lay on the roof. No kids or anything around, just drinking beer and stuff. And then I'd just go down every so often and like, do you want anything to eat? And yeah, go and get her like kebab from the shops and that, and come back up, and
yeah,
good stuff. But yeah, I want to take. My missus didn't think that the kids will survive like 20 hours on a coach, but I think the age my boys are at now, I think they'd really enjoy it.
Tablets, phones,
yeah, they love it, mate. The excitement of it in there as well.
Well, my lad are fine with it, and they're
so much cheaper, isn't it?
Oh man, it's my spending money. I save, even though I'm all inclusive. I still take spending money, but yeah, it's my spending money I got. Then I ain't got to find extra then for spending, so even better.
Yeah, I think if we do it just because of my back and that, I think we'll fly back.
Yeah.
But just get the coach out there. But yeah, I don't know. Be good. So when you going there then?
9th of August.
Oh, not long to go now.
No.
See, we'll have to try and get the Spiderman one in before you go then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. Right.
Off topic again.
Fucking terrible, isn't it? It's your fault for being so easy to talk to, and I just go off tangents. See, blame you.
Chernobyl.
I never go off on this many tangents. I always go off on a few. But yeah, Jared Harris' portrayal of the guy whose name I'm not going to butcher.
I tried writing it down, and I was like, "There's too many words."
It's not Pripyat, the other one. Legasov, he plays. But like, it can't be understated how good his portrayal of the guy was. Like, you could feel his desperation and his pain, and his just like, you could feel every word that he was saying, and that's so difficult to do. I think it does help. It does help that everyone knows it's a real thing, and they're real people just portrayed by actors. I think that does help with the emotional attachment.
April 1986 on there.
I couldn't stop thinking throughout all of it, like, oh God, imagine those people like the people who live nearby, and they're all stood on the bridge looking down on it when it
And
first happened. And
but
they're thinking of it as like, oh, it's like fireworks. You know, oh, wow, look
yeah,
at that. And like all
it's
those people died.
radioactive. Yeah, it's horrible. Like,
But yeah, Jared
at the end,
Harris, go on.
the end credits is really like
Upsetting,
even
isn't
though
it?
it humanized the cat. Like obviously they're humans anyway, but you connect with them. And then when you see all the things at the end and all the people on the railway bridge died, and you're like, oh wow. Then the guys who went in to do
Those three
the
guys survived,
yeah,
didn't they? Which was
how
madness.
it's mental. But like when they went to Gorbachev, is it Gorbachev?
Yeah, Gorbachev.
Yeah. Oh, we were asking permission for 3 people to die, and they're like, yeah, okay. It's mad because you would never have thought you would have got this much information out of the Soviets.
No.
Not at any time, especially now during like
The thing which it made me remember as well is like the bravery of the coal miners and the firefighters, because a lot of the firefighters at the start didn't know until like the graphite, and he picked it up and all that sort of stuff. But they didn't pull out, or like I know the general said, I'm not sending any of my men there now, and he went himself. But like those people knew they were going to die. Even like Jared Harris's character, Legasov and Pripyat and the others, they knew they were dying, but they just kept going and kept going because they knew that if they didn't come up with a solution quickly, it was going to be catastrophic. And it was catastrophic anyway. But like you're talking millions of people dying rather than thousands, which is a big thing.
Well,
isn't it?
The official Soviet death toll is 31.
Yes,
that was
frustrating, isn't it?
And then it was
they don't include
7,000 and 91,000.
Yeah, they don't include all the people who died from like thyroid cancer and all the mutated babies. And
the ash come over to Britain, didn't they?
Ukraine, Georgia, all over the place. But the girl who's pregnant and her husband dies.
Yeah.
The baby died, didn't it? I think
after 4 hours.
I can't remember. Yeah, it like lived for a couple of hours. And like in the TV program, I felt like it kind of implied that she died and the baby died because she when she went to see her husband, she was like touching him and stuff. And I don't know if that was the one part which didn't sit right with me, because she didn't go to the bridge though, so maybe that is what happened, and maybe she did die because maybe the baby did die because of it. But that was the one thing which was a bit like.
But she was told not to touch him.
Yeah, and I think 9 people out of 10, if you asked them if they were in that situation, they probably would have done what she did.
Yeah, I would. No doubt.
You just would. It's your loved one or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Jared Harris, everyone knew how good an actor he was, but he was just.
He raised the bar again, didn't he?
Yeah, and if he doesn't get a Golden Globe for it, I don't know what.
It's going to win that show's going to win all the awards. I'm pretty certain of that.
So you had Stellan Skarsgård, also of the main the MCU, plays Dr. Selvig.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like him. He's a really good actor. I watched there's a show on Netflix with him in. Forget what it's called. But he's like where he's a detective and he sees he can see dead people. Or he can see like his dead wife or dead partner or something. I forget. But I watched it ages ago and it's really, really good. It's not it wasn't like a big, huge hit or like a really popular show. River is called. And and he's got like traps him in his mind is like trapped between the living and the dead, and he sees people. And I think if I remember correctly, he had like a brain tumor or something similar. But yeah, I advise that's a really good one to watch.
I'll watch that.
It's got Nicola Walker in it as well, who's been in loads of stuff. Yes, very good, very good. So what else we got? And it obviously portrayed the fact that at the start the Russian government was more interested in keeping it a secret than helping the people.
Yeah.
And it took them a very long time to admit it had happened, admit how big the problem was. And because they wouldn't admit it, they couldn't do anything to fix it until they admitted it, which was, that's distressing to watch as well. Because even though it's actors and actresses and special effects and green screens and stuff, and that, it's
still hits
your
hard.
people. And and that there's a bit of creative license, but there's a lot of it which is how it happened.
Yeah.
And so rather than it being like a Hollywood spectacle and like a lot of TV shows, it's like the narrative which is getting sucking you in, and it's breathtaking and heart pounding in a different way.
Yeah.
It's like it's excitement, but in a different way. Like you're really enthralled by it, but not by like the action scenes or by the chases or the car, whatever it may be, or the twists and turns or the reveal. It's just purely from the level of acting, the distressing story, and just because it's all true. It's
like I got a bit caught up when they were going on killing the dogs and the animals, and you're like,
the guy would do it, and you had like the hardened Kazakhstani Afghan veterans, as it, and they were hardened to it, so they didn't make him do it, and like that kept me a bit because I was like, they knew he was just a kid, and they knew it had to be done. They weren't doing it because they wanted to or because they took pleasure from it. But that was a slight creative liberty, that was, because I read somewhere that it wasn't soldiers who did it. It was like, what are they called? Like pest control people who did it. But I mean, that's not a big thing, is it? Because I felt like that added to the sort of the heartache of the people almost.
Yeah.
In that they knew it had to be done. It was just another thing that they had to do to stop it sort of spreading or whatever, stop more people being infected and radiation poisoning. And like you follow like the controllers who are in the room doing the tests, and obviously at the start you don't see the lead up to it, and you don't really see what happened in the room until the very sort of end. I think it might be in the last episode, or the one but last. And like that was like Ritter was really good in that role, because for the whole thing he was portrayed as just a bit of a twat. But then in the latter part of it, you sort of saw that he was a bit of a dick, and he was pushing him when he shouldn't have been. We also saw that it was because he'd been promised a promotion if he did the test.
Yeah.
So it was like he wasn't just pushing him to be horrible. There was a reason behind
self-interest as well. Yeah.
And like the firefighters lifting the graphite, and they literally disintegrated in hospital to nothing. Yeah. It's and like the drama, it was handled really well. I thought it was delicately done, so it wasn't like you didn't feel like the real people were being exploited for this TV show.
For a show that you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's still like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And you know what's going to happen next, especially if you've got you just go on the internet now and search Chernobyl, and then it comes up then with a list of what happened in Chernobyl, and you can actually read for about yourself. But to know you like, oh my god, what's going to happen in the next episode, and you got to see the stories outside the main narrative as well, like the soldiers
and
the
they
coal
had
miners.
emotion, didn't they?
Yeah, like it was really well written. Like
And like those coal miners, they like they just knew they knew that it was like a one-way trip, basically.
Yeah, they knew
weren't
they were going to die
instantly, and they didn't care. They knew they
could
had to
save
do
millions.
it. Yeah. I thought the film soundtrack to it, or the composing to it, really added to it as well. I spoke to did a show with a film composer which came out at the start of this week. He's really talented guy. Like he's got a single out at the moment, Fresh Air. Get it now if you like house music. But like he's done composing on loads of adverts and TV programs, and he was talking to me about like the soundtrack, like not the soundtrack where they play pop
The
songs,
score,
sort of shit. Yeah, the score is like so important because that's what gives you the emotion more so than the actors. And when you have scenes or actors who are as talented as people like Jared Harris and Stellan Skarsgård, plus you have music, which is a score which is so good, your body and your emotions have got no chance of
funny you should say
keeping
that,
it together.
because on YouTube you can see like parts of Star Wars films, that my favorite films, where they don't have the music, and it completely changes the scene.
Yeah,
Because without the score, it doesn't make it doesn't draw you in. You're on it. It takes your eye. You're like, oh, can't be bothered. But the score to a film is more important sometimes than the actual visual
yeah, and
aspect.
the script and everything, isn't it? So the person who did the music for it is like an up and coming composer called Hilda Good. I'm gonna butcher this. Gujanati Tir. I don't know. Sorry, I apologize, Hilda. But she did the scores for the Hijacking, Sicario 2, and Mary Magdalene. I haven't seen Mary Magdalene.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
But Sicario 2 stands out as the score is really good in that. So she looks like she could have a bright future. Like one of the sort of things I was quite not concerned about, but I was wary of going in, was whether it was going to be like this big anti-Russia thing, or like a big indictment of communism, or a bit like used as like a geopolitical tool. And I liked that it just wasn't. It just purely focused on like the human elements of it.
It was as factual as you could get as well.
But then don't get me wrong, like they still had the bits, the political bits you needed to know, like with the KGB putting pressure on them and the government involvement. But without it just being all like the Russian government's terrible, they lie, they do this, they do that, constantly in your face. I thought it was good balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you give Chernobyl out of 10?
10. I would give him 10. It's brilliant TV. Like like I said, it's in my top 3. It's Breaking Bad, Billions. Oh no, that's lies. Breaking Bad, Chernobyl, and then Billions for me now.
I never watched Billions.
I love Billions. It's like that's a good TV show to watch. But I like Damien Lewis and Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, I like that.
So
what's it about?
Basically, Damien Lewis survived 9/11 attacks. He wasn't in the World Trade Center, so he takes on his like stockbroking type thing. He's got his own Axe Capital type thing, and Paul Giamatti's character is the district attorney for New York. So he's trying to take him down, but Paul Giamatti's wife works for Bobby Axelrod's, Damien Lewis's character. So there's a conflict of, the first season is a bit slow to start with. Second one was amazing because they progressed on to other storylines within the show. They become friends. And I just finished season 3 now, and it's back on a knife edge. You're like, oh, what's going on? So yeah, I definitely recommend that.
I might check that out.
Yes,
I think I'd give Chernobyl a 8, 9, maybe 9. Yeah, 9. I think. See, my favorite TV show of all time is still Lost. Fringe.
I like Lost.
Fringe,
I genuinely
and
did
Prison
get lost
Break.
with it.
I like Prison Break. I like Lost. I like Fringe is one of my favorites.
I haven't
of all
seen
time.
Prison Break.
Prison Break. If you like Breaking Bad, Prison Break is amazing, mate. Especially the first 2 seasons. It's fucking incredible. Best TV. Those 2 seasons on their own are the best storytelling, I think, of any TV show ever. That's how good I think they are.
It's my wife.
So,
she's got to
right,
go
we'll
bed.
just finish it off.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, Chernobyl, good stuff. Thank you for joining me, Jamie, mate.
No problem.
So we'll be back for the people probably next week now to talk some Spider-Man and Toy Story 4 special bonus show.
Nice.
Tell the people where they can find you on the Twitter machine.
At Jamo Cardiff 2011.
Excellent.
You
can find us. Go on.
If you want to follow us up, that'd be cool. And I will follow you back.
Excellent. There you go. And you can find us on Twitter at ACEcast_nation. And like I say, we'll be back to talk Spider-Man next week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Audio versions of all our shows are available on all the podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all them. We have new guests every week, new shows, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've got loads of series for everything, series for everyone. So come join us and come say hi. And you can send in, at the moment, this podcast is still called Podcast with No Name until we can think of something which is catchy or cool or what. There's something that we like. So if you've got any suggestions, send them in to Twitter or facebook.com/ACEcastNation. Cheers again, Jamie, for coming on.
And
thanks. Indeed. It is good fun. Yeah, I got carried away, mate. And thanks, guys, for listening, watching, and we'll see you later. Cheers.
Bye.